great pleasure to be here with all. I hope I am audible enough.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
So we are also expecting our principal to be joining the webinar. Could we resume for 5 more minutes for starting the webinar?
Sure, no issues. I'll be very happy to have the principal sir of SPIT to be here.
Yeah, we are trying to contact him as well for joining the webinar. Just give me some 5 more minutes or 14 minutes.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Sharad, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I think he is busy right now. He is not picking up the call. So we should continue the webinar.
Okay, sure. No issues. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
So hi guys. So today's topic is very interesting. I hope you may have received many of some of the short notes as well on the WhatsApp group. So the topic is very appropriate for today's day and age that we are all living. Yes. So we are all living in this modern world, and it definitely is a very big question for all of us to to have the that positive attitude, isn't it? And especially the whole world is suffering out of this terrible pandemic, the novel coronavirus, isn't it? So uh, The first that I have to share with all of you is that we all have a free will with all of us, and with which we can make the right choice in our life. So every one of us have a free will, and life is all about how you choose your free will. Yes, because this world is going to provide so many different situations, isn't it? So a thief may come and steal our money. Material nature can take away your health, isn't it? So we are all suffering with the pandemic coronavirus. So practically at every step we are all at risk. Every one of us is hoping that I am not the next victim of the novel coronavirus. Mhm. So time may actually steal away all of our relationships, isn't it? So as the time is passing and as years are going ahead, we are all quite scared that and practically our whole life will be stolen away by time, isn't it? So in these situations, when different things are taken away from us, what is important is how we respond to that situation. Specifically, how our free will responds to that. And depending on how you respond by your free will to a certain situation, you become conditioned by that situation. Just like a simple example, let's say smoking. Initially, when a person smokes, right, when you start it, it's horrible, isn't it? But by your free will, you keep doing it until your free will is so habituated to surrendering to that experience. By the time you realize this fact, you have become already addicted to it. Does that make sense? Or maybe when you drink alcohol, it's not that it's very pleasing, but one surrenders his free will to an action which is not very useful for him. And once the free will is surrendered, then it develops into a habit or a condition, and then you become conditioned by what you ask. To see it becomes a second nature. So therefore, it is very important how we respond. Yes, what kind of thoughts we cultivate. You think I have to do it, I have to do it, I must do it, I cannot live without it. By the time you realize that it has become an addiction, but it's too late. Yes, the material world will stay the way it is. The world is going to steal away, take away so many things that we are desiring. Now, what depends on an individual is what kind of attitude one develops, how one surrenders his free will to that situation that is in our command. And that is called as the power of positive attitude. And depending upon that power, one can deal with this world with greater positivity. We may not be able to control the environment, situation around us. Just like this is a novel coronavirus, the pandemic, which is spreading. So we may not be able to control the situation per se, you know, on a collective basis. Yes, what we can choose is how we respond to that situation on an individual basis. Talking further about positive attitude, now it very much depends on you know uh, whatever consciousness we are carrying, whatever the nature of thoughts we are carrying. Yes, the way we think or the way we respond to a situation is not our eternal nature. It is something which we have acquired by the kind of surroundings we live in. The very fact you can see this whole thing is the whole world around us, the natural surroundings, the kind of surroundings, they influence our consciousness. So, depending upon the kind of surroundings or the kind of people we associate with, that kind of consciousness or response we develop. Yes. So, somebody is staying in a very dull and very, very lazy atmosphere, say, for example, he will always have negative thoughts, isn't it? And let us talk about, say for example, if you see, like in our college, we have a beautiful pond, isn't it? Just at the backside of our SPIT college. I still remember. I think yeah, it's still there. So let's suppose there is a boat in the pond, or in a bigger river, or in the ocean. Now the boat has no control over the water, isn't it?
Excuse me, sir. You can speak little loud. Thank you, sir.
So now the boat, we may not be able to control the boat, isn't it? So we have full control of how we are going to react to the environment. Mm. So we may not be having the control over the sea winds, but we can control the sail of the ship, isn't it? So the boat example that I was giving, if you put a boat in a pond or in a bigger river or in an ocean, so the boat has no control how the water will respond there. There might be huge waves or strong winds might be there. So we may not be able to control the wind, but we can control over the sails depending upon that boat can control which direction in spite of the strong winds, isn't it? Similarly, how each one of us has an individual free will, right? So rather individual nature to be blissful and to respond in a blissful way, just like a boat can control over the sails, but not over the wind. So we have no control over what comes in our life, but we have full control over how our consciousness responds. And so it's up to us that we can be in a victim consciousness when something happens over us, yes, or we can be in a consciousness, you know, the way how it is defined in our holy scriptures. If we all read, it can be the Holy Bible, the Holy Quran, or the Holy Bhagavad Gita. So when we associate it with these scriptures, they create a great strength of positivity to our mind, to our intelligence, to our whole existence, and we become like a boat or a boatman, yes, who has a strong control over the sails, but no control over the wind. That is a benefit of studying these holy scriptures or associating us to like-minded people, to someone who is having a strong sense of positivity based on inner spiritual substance. So when we associate with those kind of people, yes, who carry this positivity, who carry these positive patterns of thought, you know so we develop also this positive attitude. Yes. In the middle of every opportunity, difficulty lies an opportunity. Yes. So it's up to us that how we look to every situation in our life. Okay. So I hope we are good till now. Let's go to another paradigm of this topic that we are discussing today, this evening. The power of positive attitude is having the right perception. Yes. So talking about the holy scriptures that I was talking about, let us see what the Bible says about being positive. Yes, I am a person who likes to read a lot. Yes, so Bible says very beautiful statements. Like one statement which says, that "Knock and the door will be opened," isn't it? I am sure many of you might have heard this. One of my very inspiring statements. Do you all know what it means? It means something very interesting. So sometimes door may appear to be closed, but one should know that door is not locked. Just knock it or push it. It will open. Yes, there might be opportunities in life, situations in life where everything appears to be dark, negative, full of hopelessness. But just the change in attitude, and it's full of positivity. This is another saying which says, yes, when opportunity knocks, most people complain about the noise. Isn't it? Yes. So, for example, this is a very beautiful seminar, the presentation that, I would really like to congratulate and, thanks to the whole committee members of this SPIT, right? The IET, FEDS, and whoever, has tried to organize this very, very interesting event, right? That we are all together this evening trying to discuss something positive about, developing, our attitude, isn't it? So when opportunity is not, like most people complain about the noise. That, oh, come on, I am so busy now, don't disturb me. Mm. So where everything appears to be dark, negative, full of hopelessness, but just a change in attitude, and it's full of positivity. Yes. So some situation comes in your city, in your life, and it seems to be so negative. Just like when a knock is there and somebody knocks like this, it just makes noise. So it may make noise, and we may start complaining, right, about the noise. But it's an opportunity for growth, which is knocking. So real vision is to see the invisible real strength of the self, right? To see the invisible, what eyes cannot see, but intelligence can, isn't it? So we will be able to see that, when we will try to associate with those people who carry that positive attitude in life. Yes. Okay. So what you see here in this slide is a very beautiful example. Look at this rose bush. It is full of thorns, isn't it? Yeah. So when you look at this rose bush, one may see that, oh, it is full of thorns, isn't it? Right? But then let's change and look at this thorn bush. It has a rose. You I'll just bring out the two statements again. Both are the same statements, but both have a different perspective. Both have a different perception to view, to visualize. Yes. So look at this rose bush. It is full of thorns, isn't it? And look at this thorn bush. It has a rose, isn't it? Yeah. You just find fault with it. That it is full of thorns. It's not beautiful at all. But one may say it's a thorny bush which has a small rose also, right? Or somebody else may see it's a rose bush which may have some, thorns. Just the same perception. It's like somebody who wears a red colored glass, he will see the whole world as red, isn't it? Similarly, somebody whose eyes are covered with ignorance, with negativity, which is nothing but a projection of your own consciousness. If your consciousness is negative, when you perceive, that will be also negative. Similarly, if somebody's consciousness is full of negative thoughts, then even if it's beautiful, you know, just like, there is a beautiful pond, a beautiful trees, there are beautiful mountains, but when something like that may be, sitting in most morose conditions, in the most scenic place, in the most serene place, inside full of, so many greeneries and, around us. But then our consciousness is negative, and consciousness can immediately change by good association, right? So that is the most amazing thing about consciousness. It's so deep rooted. you know so there is a very beautiful saying about the William Blake. you know so he said that we read the Bible day and night, right? So you read black and I read white. We are reading the same words, but according to our attitude, we have a completely different idea, isn't it? It's the same Bible. So look at the world today, right? There are people who read the Holy Gita, the Holy Bible, the Holy Quran, the Holy Veda, and when they read it, what do they get out of it? Yes. Some people learn to hate and others learn to love. That's it, isn't it? So some people become humble and respectful to all, and some people become bigoted. Yes, some people become sectarian and fanatical also. Yes, from reading the same scriptures. Why? So it is all based on our association, our perception, and our particular attitude. So I hope it makes sense. So if a doctor does not have a positive attitude about curing a patient, would he even try? Right? What do you think? For a doctor with a positive attitude, he will try his best, even succeed, isn't it? Yes. Okay. Great. I hope till now we are all good. Uh, let's go to the next very interesting, uh, you know, outline of our today's discussion: the power of positive attitude, which is persevere or perseverance. Yes. So one of the components of positive attitude is to persevere. Yes. So one has to really persevere, against all odds. If it would not be perseverance, then many things which we take for granted today would not have been there. Yes. Like, would anyone, have, we all have heard about the Wright brothers. Yes. So, they are the ones, who originally were responsible for inventing the flying machines. Yes, the aeroplanes, right? So they were farmers. Yes, but they had this strange, vague idea which nobody appreciated, right? And everyone or anyone would practically laugh at them. Simple farmers and thinking of flying. Yes, but they were convinced, yes, that we have to. And people were saying that birds fly, humans don't fly, humans don't fly, humans can never fly, right? No, that was what people were saying to them. Yes, to the Wright brothers, right? So birds are supposed to fly. Why are you wasting your time? This is the absolute wastage of time. So now here, just see, they are seeing the invisible, the Wright brothers. Yes. So that is a real visionary, who sees the invisible, right? So nobody would keep faith in him, in them, right, brothers? So such a thing is possible. Such an action could take place, but they had faith, yes, and they tried for days and days and weeks, yes, and weeks. They strived for years, and finally they made it possible. Yes, of course, because of the novel coronavirus, things will take some time to move on again. Again flying up in the aeroplanes. Yes. So, so that is called as, a visionary. Yes. That is what I mean by perseverance. Yes. To have that faith. Yes. So they had faith, these Wright brothers, and they tried for days and days and weeks and months and years, and finally they could fly in spite of all odds. All people laughing and laughing at them, making joke of them, not believing in them. And although they could only fly only a few yards, but they could fly and just see that attempt. And now where we are, yes, that initial attempt against all odds. So that is again the power of positive attitude. Persevere, to have faith. When you have faith, you can see the invisible. When you have faith in something, in your own ideal, and ideal which is based on positive, yes, positive thoughts, proper ideals of character and integrity. Yes, so when you have faith, you can see the invisible, you can believe the incredible, which nobody can believe. You can believe it. Yes, and it can happen, by the power of faith. And not only that, you can receive the impossible. Yes, impossible. Nobody would have ever thought. Yes, everybody criticized these right brothers, but you can receive power of faith in the ideal, in the positive ideals. Yes. So today, by their efforts, yes, the entire world is connected due to their efforts, isn't it? Right? By the efforts of these right brothers, right? That we are all able to traverse across. So see their power of faith. And what was the reason for the success? Yes, positive vibes that they carried, the positive outlook. So because of the power of positive attitude of people who believed in the ideal of what they were doing and did not care for what anyone or everyone said. So they had faith in their ideal. Yes. So with faith, you can see the invisible, you can believe the incredible, and you can receive the impossible. Yes. So nobody could imagine that what a beautiful plant can come out from a seed, isn't it? The seed looks so small. Yes. But when the same seed is being nurtured with water, yes, when it is taken care, a beautiful plant comes out. Yes. And that is the power of faith. Okay. Uh, let's go to our next outline for today's discussion. And that is the most interesting part of our today's discussion. And that is adding the spiritual dimension. Yes. So, as we are repeatedly talking about developing the spiritual perspective, because one very important thing is what identity we carry now. Yes. So, if you go to a psychologist, say for example, people who are depressed, it's so sad. Yes, so sad it is. So many people nowadays we encounter. Yes, it's just in the mood of committing suicide. Yes, so, is it if you see psychologists, they are mainly talking about treating the mind, dealing with the mind. Yes. So, till one understands one's spiritual identity beyond the mind, right? So, other solutions are very temporary solutions, absolutely temporary. Like the Bhagavad Gita tells us what is our real identity. Yes. It talks about, yes, yes. So, Bhagavad Gita talks about what is our real identity? It talks about a gross body. How we are in this gross body. Yes, earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Hmm. Then there is a subtle body, which is consisting of mind, intelligence, and false ego. And inside the subtle body is our real identity, the spirit soul. The more one identifies with subtle body, which is mind, intelligence, and false ego, the three things are there: mind, intelligence, and false ego. It is something which we are not. So Gita is so beautiful. Yes, Bhagavad Gita is so deep, full of so much knowledge, so much positivity. Yes, it helps us to identify what we are not, just like this garment that we are all wearing, right? The shirt, right? So, um, sorry. So, let's say, if the shirt of our garment is torn, yes, and we identify with that, we start crying. So much, isn't it? We feel pain, right? But if you sit on, right, we just throw it and buy a new one, isn't it? Similarly, when we understand, that uh, you know that we are not this mind, intelligent, and false ego, and it is not my identity. Yes. So this is a kind of covering which I have taken over, but I am actually the spirit soul beyond mind, intelligence, and false ego. So such a person can overcome all psychological problems, all depression, all frustration, all hopelessness, just by understanding our own spiritual identity. Hmm. Does that make sense? The Gita especially teaches about the spiritual dimension of life. Yes. Yeah. So Arjuna, if you see in the Bhagavad Gita, right? Arjuna was against his own will, right? and he was confronted with insurmountable perplexities. Yes. So despite him, being a good man, he was a very great warrior. In the whole Bhagavad Gita, if you observe, in the whole Mahabharata Yuddha. Mhm. Yes. This is the next thing which Arjuna asked, that why do bad things happen to good people? Yes, I have not done anything, bad till now, but why do bad things happen to good people? Yes, a good person does not just hide from bad; he is conscious about it. Yes, however, he looks for the good opportunity even in it. Yes, okay, nice, good. I hope we are all good till now. Let's go to the next outline of our discussion, right? That I have here, which is dealing with crisis. Yes. So we all are dealing with crisis actually, right? With the novel coronavirus. Yes. So we are all dealing with it, and it's so sad that I was reading in one of the magazines which talks about the statistics, and there are so many children and all youngsters under the age of 25, yes, who commit suicide. Yes, they cannot deal with crisis in their situation. When the crisis comes, they don't want to face it, just run away. That's like origin in Bhagavad Gita on the battlefield, right? Arjuna wanted to run away, right? He just didn't wanted to deal with it, with the problem that has come up. Yes, if you see the Mahabharata. So scriptures, they give a very nice example, right? Yeah. So statistics show 46% of the deaths in India below the age of 25 is due to suicide. Okay. So in a country which is supposed to be highly cultured, suicide is the ultimate expression of frustration and hopelessness. Yes. Yeah. So this is the example that I was talking about. Yeah. So scriptures give a very nice example. When an ostrich, right? If you have seen, an ostrich, right? If you have any experience with an ostrich, when a lion comes to attack the ostrich, uh, you know, and lion means crisis. Yes. So it's a crisis of life. Yes? So ostrich runs and runs and runs. But how fast can ostrich run? Finally, the lion is very close, isn't it? Or sits, right there, right? Sits right, uh, right there, right? And what the ostrich will do is, thinking that the lion is gone, yes, the ostrich will actually put its head down, isn't it? And imagine, what would be next. Hmm. So that is like committing suicide, right? Useless, doesn't know how to deal with crisis, isn't it? So this is another example, right? You all, would have heard about this another example of a rabbit, right? So when a fox also comes running, right, towards a rabbit, the rabbit also tries to run, but at one point, rabbit just sits and closes the eyes, right? And that's again not knowing how to deal with the crisis, and that's like committing suicide. So when you do not know how to deal with the crisis, suicides, is such a symbol of frustration and hopelessness, right? And at a young age, right, when there is long life to go, and there is so much time in the life to figure out, right? It's the real way of living and the real way of solving the issues. And what you do, you just close your eyes, dig your head into the ground, you know, and as if you dealt with crisis, right? So Arjuna wanted to do something similar, but Krishna taught him that this is not the right way. If anybody would share a first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, especially some psychiatrist, right, he would feel, oh, this guy, this Arjuna, you know, really needs medication. The kind of symptoms he is, showing, right? He is resembling. His hairs are standing on end, right? The Arjuna, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, right? Arjuna was really trembling, right? Such a great warrior, right? He was, the favorite student in the, in the whole, Dronacharya Institute of Technology at that time, right? So that was the world, headquarters, right? This is almost 5,000 years back, right? The Dronacharya Institute of Technology, right? That was in, Hastinapur, right? So in that Dronacharya Institute, Arjuna was one of the favorite student of Dronacharya. Yes, but still, he started trembling. His hairs are standing on end. Yes, the boy is falling from his, the bow is falling from his hand, and he just wants to leave everything and run to the forest and does not want to face, right? And that is not the way to deal with the crisis. And that's why Krishna is teaching in the Bhagavad Gita how to experience peace amidst all the crisis. So much crisis you can be in the middle of war field. And that's why Bhagavad Gita is spoken on war field, right? The battlefield. Because there is so much crisis, right? But how Arjuna is being taught how to experience peace amidst the crisis. Yes. Okay, so similarly, when we are also faced with real problems in our life, people turn to TV, sports, and other distractions, isn't it? Thinking that, oh, my problem has gone away. But is it really the case? Yes, that your problems have just gone away? No, the problems are still there. It's just that we are all trying to run away from the actual problem. It's just that we are just postponing the problem. Yes. Yeah. So this is what Krishna tells to Arjuna, that do not be depressed. Do not just artificially close your eyes and escape the problems of life. Do not run away and negate them. See the positive opportunity that you have in this situation and work accordingly. Yes. Okay, great. You know, we are towards the last part of our presentation, trying to discuss the most important ingredient of all of our lives, which is to choose the right attitude and association. And most of us, mind you, really lack in this aspect of life. Yes, we just don't know what's the right attitude and who are the right people to whom I can associate with. Yes. So one bad apple, right? The famous example, right? It can spoil the entire cart. Yes. Sorry. What are the important or one of the common things which are blame, which is like a blame on spiritualists, hmm, or those who seek spiritual life, is that those who take shelter of spiritual life are kind of escaping. Yes, they are escapist from the society, isn't it? That you do not want to deal with reality, or sometimes when we talk about too much misery, we say your life is miserable. Yes, so many problems we face it, we struggle, that is full of struggles, right? So somebody say you are so pessimistic, but it's not pessimism, it is not non-realistic, it is not being escapist. In fact, spiritual life teaches you know a reality. Yes, so this is a reality of this world. And next thing which spiritual life teaches is how to develop a blissful attitude. Yes. So just compare a materialistic way of dealing with reality and a spiritual we just want and I'm really sorry.
Sir, your voice is not audible. You can.
Yeah, I'm just sorry. I just got
Thank you, sir.
out of the meeting.
Yes, no.
Yes. So, so the Bhagavad Gita teaches us, you know, that the reality is, you know, and how to work in this world amidst all the turmoil for the benefit of other people. Yes, with the spirit of compassion, with the spirit of gratitude. It teaches us integrity, the highest level of integrity. In fact, the definition of success means going from failure to failure to failure and still not losing enthusiasm. Yes. So one may fail or may succeed, but even if there is failure after failure after failure, no enthusiasm is lost. Without loss of enthusiasm, that is success, right? So a great person is who, you know, who is, who is, having this great sense of integrity to his self, who is truthful to his own self. Being truthful to others is honesty, but being truthful to oneself, is actually integrity, and that is a real success. And Bhagavad Gita teaches us how to spread that integrity of self in the form of compassion to others, in the form of kindness to others, in the form of love, love to others, in the form of uniting the whole creation, right? Each and every living entity. It may not be only human beings, not only human beings of your own country, right? Every living being, every living entity, every animal, every bird, every insect, even a tree, every living entity should be shown love and kindness. And that is the science of Bhagavad Gita or Holy Bible, right? So these scriptures are teaching us, and that is the power of positive attitude, right? That one spreads positivity all around, grateful for whatever comes and thankful for whatever comes, and just giving and giving and giving, just like a tree, right? If you see a tree standing amidst hot sun, isn't it? Amidst such heavy showers of rains, right? It's such a, amidst freezing cold, if you see, but always the tree is ready to give shelter, yes, to give the fruits, the flowers, the leaves, yes, to give shadow, and sometimes to give the whole very life in the form of wood. You know. For us, that's what we have to learn. That is the power of positive attitude, right? Never complaining, always giving. Yes. So in a company, right, even one person who is seriously negative can spoil the whole operation. Yes. But however, in difficult situations, when we see somebody is hopeful, enthusiastic, and has a positive attitude, yes, it brings enthusiasm, isn't it? Yes, I'm sure you might have experienced this, right? When you are all working in your colleges, with different teams, with different people, with different professors, with different friends, right? There was a person named Jolly, right, who was, very seriously ill. He was always laughing and made everyone happy. And he says that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Yes. So, you might every one of us, may be experiencing some form of pain, isn't it? But suffering is optional to us. Yes, it's the kind of paradigm that we all can look, you know, to our own life. Yes? So we can see it as the grace of God. And even though physically we may be hurting, our body may be hurting, but we can find deep fulfillment and gratitude, and so many lessons to learn. Yes. So human life is meant for quality, right? And to achieve that quality of good character, we must have a positive attitude. Yes? So better one moment of full consciousness than a whole long life of just ordinary, relativistic, mundane consciousness. Yes? So great person is a person who lives with integrity, as I was mentioning, right? That to be truthful with others is honesty, and to be truthful with to ourselves is integrity. And to be truthful to God and to be honest and without hypocrisy before God is to be truthful to ourselves. Right? And that is real integrity. Right? The proper association and hearing positive, enlightening spiritual subject matter, it cleanses our heart and awakens a positive outlook that comes from the depth of the soul. and that is the reason we should practice spiritual activities in our life. Yes. Okay, you know, I would like to take a pause here, you know, and would like to take, at this point of time, some questions in case if anyone would like to, ask, in this presentation. Yes.
Yes, so if anyone wants to ask, he can raise the hand. Do you have any questions?
So I have some slides till the time we try to identify that who all guys have questions. So we are from Shrestha Club. So Shrestha Club is you know being headed by myself. So we are we try to have this tagline as shaping emerging leaders. Yes. So it's about us. So Shrestha Club is a forum to help youths to channelize their energy and potential to become a Shrestha, a leader within the society. Yes. And we have a faculty of 120 engineers, doctors, and CAs. And we have over 30 branches in premier institutes like IIT Delhi, IIT Madras, IIT Kharagpur, yes, IIT BHU, NIT Warangal, NIT Surathkal, many other colleges. And we also conduct programs in Arizona State University and Cornell University in USA. Yes. And talking about our objectives, it's creating principle-oriented leaders. Yes, amongst youth for a brighter future India. Yes. So we have seen leaders that especially these day and age that we are all living. Right. That leader is just trying to grab some money or something like that, isn't it? So we believe in creating a principle-centered leader. Yes. So training all-round well-being and saving youth from self-destructive habits and creating a community for youth counseling, training, and education. Yes, and training youth in self-discipline, commitment, and perseverance for achieving success in their life. Yes. And this was, our motivation. India is a country that has half the population under the age of 25 and around two-thirds under 35. Yes. So India's burgeoning, youths are the world's future, isn't it? So maybe all of you who have participated in this evening. Yes. So yes, you are all the world's future actually. So youths have energy, potential, zeal, and courage, which are often underutilized or misutilized due to lack of quality guidance and education, and especially related to the four quotients of life. Yes. So we believe in trying to cater or develop these four quotients of our life. If any one of you have visited our page on Shrestha Club, .com, yes, we have listed many articles on these quotients as well. We have physical quotient, emotional quotient, intelligence quotient, and spiritual quotient. So due to this, today we see a constant surge, yes, in the level of frustration and confusion within our youths. Yes. So this is our team. So I had this, Shrestha Club. Yes. So I am the club president, and we have many other team members with us. Uh, who are all very, very professional people, in their own, in their own life. Yes, very successful people. And we have many, many more students in our team from over 30 plus colleges across India. And what kind of activities that we do? So we do many such kind of webinars, workshops, seminars. We try to groom your talent, and we have many retreats as well, and we have many counseling and career guidance as well. Yes. So what's upcoming next is, so we from the Shrestha Club, so we do this Discover Yourself course as well, right? So this is a 6-session certificate course that generally we do it. So it's based on developing your SQ and EQ. SQ is a spiritual quotient and EQ is an emotional quotient. So these are some of the course highlights. Don't worry, you all will be getting a feedback form to fill. In that also you will surely find the more details of this course, how we are going to do it. So it's developing higher outlook towards the whole world around, right? Understanding various methods of gaining knowledge and their application, right? Exploring the Vedic wisdom, yes. So our ancient wisdom literatures, how we can explore it to find inner peace that we are also discussing today, this evening, and expanding self-awareness and finding answers to the fundamental questions of life. Yes, and developing a higher understanding which synthesizes and unifies all the great religions of the world. Yes, so people think that religion is the cause of war, isn't it? So how to develop a higher understanding? Yes, so which synthesizes and unifies all the great religions of the world. So this is a course which will help an individual to to actually gain a much more deeper understanding in one's life in trying to cultivate these quotients of life, all the 4 quotients, the IQ, PQ, EQ, and SQ. Yes. So the details about this course will be there in the feedback form. Yes. And once again, I thank the organizers to have this very great evening session, which has been planned so well. And I really am thankful to every one of you. I hope that I didn't try to bore all of you. Yes. Before we end this, I have a very short video for all of you, as a as a end note to this presentation, and then I will leave up to the organizers. It's a very beautiful video which will help us to develop this. What do I mean by developing this positive attitude, right? I hope you are all able to see my screen. Yes. So this is from the very famous the World Cup 1996, wherein the bowler is Venkatesh Prasad, and he is trying to ball to who was this Pakistan's batsman, who was Sohail, right? So Aftab Sohail. So he is trying to ball to him. You can see the reaction of him, right? And this is what we actually mean, how to deal with crisis, right? How to deal with the situation in our life. So have a watch to this very short 27 seconds video. Yeah.
He's down the track, and really it's been a flat-batted tennis shot over covers for 4.
He's a great competitor, Amir Sohail, and here you see him arguing with the bowler or telling him what he's doing.
Well, that's the answer. That's the best way you can answer a batsman. Venkatesh Prasad has clean bowled Amir Sohail.
Yeah. So I hope you you understood the video. The video was all about how how this Venkatesh Prasad, he was he was bowling, and while he was bowling, he was being tempted, isn't it, by this batsman, Sohail, to actually take the ball from the 4, isn't it? So he has hit the ball across the boundary, and he was being tempted to get the ball from the boundary. But then, this Venkatesh Prasad was such a, having such a power of positive attitude, which is what we were actually discussing in today's evening talk. And he didn't react it, to the situation. So in life, we don't have to react always, but we can choose to respond, yes, positively. Yes. So with this, I take a pause. I, give out my, this up to the organizers. Uh, you know,
हाँ हाँ
yeah, somebody has a question.
हाँ हाँ एक मिनट हाँ चलेगा 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 थैंक यू हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण
Yes, I could see. I think somebody has a question over here. Am I correct? Is Pratiksha Divakar has a question?
if you have any questions you can ask you can raise the hand if you have any questions or else if you want to ask question personally you can fill the feedback form in that your question will be responded via email.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, very warm good evening. It's your SB, right? I don't know what's the full form of SB. But
So I'm Shubham Bhakre.
oh, Shubham, yeah, please go ahead.
So like I had one question regarding this a spiritual aspect that you were talking about.
Okay.
That you're talking that spiritual dimension is also very important even in this crucial condition is the most important. So my question is where do we find a training or the sources from which we can get some knowledge or information about which aspects of spirituality have to be imbibed in our life to make ourselves to develop our personality with respect to change this dynamic situation in this life in this world also.
Thanks for asking this very brilliant question. That from where we can get a training. So yes, this our upcoming next session that we have planned, the discover yourself, is all about trying to help us to get a deeper respect, a deeper insight to develop a positive outlook based on our wisdom literatures. So artificially we may try to keep ourselves positive always. To have the positive vibes is very difficult in this day and age that we are living, right? Especially today the world is suffering with the novel coronavirus, isn't it? So everywhere we see, people are quite in a tension that, am I not affected with this novel coronavirus, isn't it? So, and that's where, I had cited, many of the few examples from, the wisdom literature, the Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita tries to help us, and there are many self-help books which, which will also helps us to actually develop this positive outlook. How many of you have read, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People? One of the very, wonderful books, right? Which I would, like to recommend in case if somebody has not read it. Very beautifully, Stephen Covey conveys a very beautiful message how to change our paradigm. Yes. And also, I would like to recommend, because for trying to prepare these presentations this evening, I refer this booklet by the Stephen Covey, 7 Habits. And also there is one more book which I would like to recommend is The Keys to Great Leadership. Yes, and which is written by Peter Burwash. the world-class tennis champion who actually tours around to the world. If you see his, you can easily find on Google, Peter Burbosh, one of a very wonderful personality. He has written many books, especially his 10 keys to great leadership, the keys to great leadership. So it's also very wonderful book. Also, I have taken many of the verses and text from the Bhagavad Gita as well. Yes. So when we try to access these books, when we try to associate with these people, right, with their writings, we can also get a deeper understanding how to live a life. Yes. I hope I try to answer yourself. And in case if you are more interested, you can surely fill out a feedback form, show your interest to undergo this very interesting course, which personally I myself will take. And there are many other faculty members of our Shrestha Club, which will help you to provide you time under this lockdown period. Yes, so we are all been in one sense been blessed by this lockdown that we are able to take facility of this, coming together for this webinar. So I thank once again the organizers to actually hold this webinar. Yes.
Hello, Sharad sir. Myself Nitin Mishra
Yeah.
from SPIRT. Sir, actually, it was a very good seminar. I would like to thank you. Also, I had one question. As you know, the current situation, novel corona has no one is able to contain it, and people are very tense, like students as well as parents also. So uh, during this time, I think emotional question has been very affected. So what how to develop emotional question, as well as for me spiritual question is very new to me. I have heard about intelligence question and many more, but spiritual question is totally new for me. So what actually it is and how to increase it, can you elaborate that?
Sure. I'll just share something with all of you. Just give me a minute. Yeah. Yeah, so you guys are able to see this on the screen. So this is actually emotional quotient, right? So it's one of the most powerful way of communication, right? So it's all about emotional game. Yes. So EQ is the ability to assess, access, and control your emotions and those of others. Yes, and how we relate to others and how others perceive us. Right? Is very important in our life. So it is to exhibit and express our feelings very clearly. Yes. So it's basically to try to deal with anger, sadness, fear, guilt, and freedom. Yes. So many negative thoughts and emotions that try to subdue our consciousness. These are some of the challenges and solutions. We have low self-image, and it's about self-awareness, how we can actually increase from being low self-image to being aware about ourselves. Yes. So depending on others' opinion, so that's a challenge of EQ. So we have to get a person motivation to ourselves, and the solution of EQ may sound very ambiguous, or not very practical, and that is where there is a need for SQ to come, and which is the next PPT. Next slide is about SQ, developing a spiritual quotient. What is SQ? As you very rightly asked, It's the capacity to transcend physical consciousness and experience heightened states of consciousness. Yes, which enables one to solve the daily problems effectively and virtuously. So this word is very interesting here. You see virtue. So it's a virtue, right, which helps us to develop this positive attitude. Yes, it's the ability to behave with wisdom and compassion while maintaining the inner and outer stability. Yes, equanimity regardless of the circumstances. So, you know, you all might be knowing about our brain, how it has been divided. So IQ, EQ, and SQ is the whole brain actually. IQ solves logical problems, and EQ allows us to judge the situation and behave accordingly with balanced emotions. And SQ makes us ask the fundamental question whether it is worth being in the situation before indulging in it. I'll give you a very simple example, Nitin. How we can understand
Yes,
this.
sir.
So, for example, let's say there is a birthday party of your of someone in the college, isn't it? And the whole friend circle is trying to think that where should I go? Shall we go to the MACD or shall we go to JW Marriott? Or like you understand, no? Like we are all thinking about it, where we should go, depending on how much we can spend and things like that. So IQ is like, okay, uh, you know okay, let's go by you know practically, we can spend less and we can try to gain maximum, right, the maximum dishes and everything. I think we should be able to go. So IQ is solving logical problems, and EQ is ठीक है ना, बाकी सारे दोस्त लोग बोल रहे हैं कि okay, let's go to some nearby dhaba, we will spend less or time भी कम है वगैरह वगैरह. And just to keep your friends advice also, everyone joins, ठीक है चलना, ये भी बोल रहा है उधर जाते हैं, ये भी बोल रहा है उधर जाते हैं. And SQ is all about that, is it really good to go at such a time of novel coronavirus? If you go to restaurant and things like that, let's all try to celebrate birthday here only in the college, or try to this and that. It's not worth to go outside and eat. The coronavirus and all, it's not very healthy to go there. Does that make sense? So SQ is about asking the fundamental question whether it is worth being in the situation before indulging in it. So does SQ fulfills our inner need for meaning, value, and a sense of worth in whatever we do? Yes. SQ gives us the ability to question on a deeper level, who am I? What will really make me happy in life? And what are my needs? And what is the root cause of my problems? So SQ tries to solve these four major questions, right? An ability to question on a deeper level about these four things in life. I hope I try to answer you shortly. Was that good enough, Nitin?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh, do anyone have any questions? Mm, okay, so hello everyone. My name is Shlok. I am an engineering student in Sardar Patel Institute of Technology. So, sir, basically it was a very fantastic webinar. I will thank all the members of Shrestha Club for helping us in organizing this webinar. We learned something that is completely out of the box, and we don't usually learn these things in our day-to-day lives, and we are not taught these things in our engineering colleges also. The presentation of such a complex thing was done very beautifully. Thank you, sir, for present over here, finding some time from your busy scheduled life. So, also, I will request every one of you to fill the feedback form and tell us about how the webinar was. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks, Shlok. Thanks, Nitin. I would like to once again thank all the committee members of SPIT for really working hard, to trying to invite me, and it was really a great pleasure to be there with all of you. And hope to see you, for our next event as well. Yes, you will come to know more details in the feedback form. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, have a good day. Good night.
Yes, so feedback form link will be shared on WhatsApp, so you can fill the feedback form. And thank you very much for attending this session. I hope you have learned a lot of things from it. And uh, from next session, you can learn many more things, and the details will be shared with you in future. Thank you very much.